The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of the streaming platforms, public access channels, the Kitty Rose lifestyle, or the program underwriters.
Tim's on my feet, stomping out the negativity. Everybody not a friend of me. Spread the love, still I move deliberately. Bully face on, but the smile be heavenly. Brooklyn girls, so they love the energy, love sincerity. So I take the liberty to take them on a journey lyrically through hallways and alleys.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's your girl, Minister Cat, aka Kitty Rose, and my girl, Melissa D. And we are the next chapter where we discuss shades of gray. Happy New Year, Melissa. What's good, baby?
Ooh, I'm here in beautiful Puerto Rico.
Whack. And I'm still here in New York. How are you? How was your New Year's?
Pretty good, not too eventful, and that's always a great thing, right?
Well, yes and no, because last time we spoke, we talked about your tradition during the holidays was going away. So were you able to go away this year, or were you just in Puerto Rico kind of low key?
I got on the plane to get to the Northeast, and they said, we're going to drop you off in Philly. And I was like, I'm getting off.
So you did still travel. Okay, keeping on your tradition.
No, I got off the plane. I stayed here in Puerto Rico. I wasn't going to take the chance of getting lost in another city.
So was this your first New Year's in Puerto Rico by yourself?
Yes, well, I have a special somebody, so.
Well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to all of you. I hope that you guys had a nice and calming and peaceful New Year's Eve coming into the new year. And we're excited for all the things that we're going to bring you for the new year of 2023. So let's get right into it. This was a show we were going to do before 2022 ended. Another topic brought to you by my girl Melissa D. And I wanted to bring it into the new year because I, once again, thought it was something that was very pointing it to how we live our life now. So this week's topic of the week is life before social media. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, we are old enough to know what life was like, right?
What was life before social media? What was life before our cell phones was in our bed?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you remember what life was like before social media?
Yeah. Texting took much longer. You would actually have to take a physical picture of yourself and then give it to somebody. Now you can just take a picture of yourself and send it on your phone. So sexting is much different now than it is before.
And I was always a picture person. Like I always had, those little small cameras that you take pictures of, and I take them every week to the Dwayne Reed and get them, printed out. So I've always been like a fanatic when it comes to pictures. So now with the devices that we have with our cell phone and we're taking pictures all the time, you can only imagine what my photo album collection looks like, now even with that access to, having it on your cell phone. But I was trying to think of like some of the things that happened before social media, because I think when we think of social media, we only really think about the devices, like the cell phone. But what about like, the way we even listen to music was different, before social media. I feel like social media, the first thing I remember when the internet started and AOL started with the dial-up. Mm-hmm. I remember we went from the AOL dial-up to MySpace. I don't remember what was in between MySpace.
So AOL was the company that helped us connect to the interweb at the time. MySpace ended up being one of the first social media sites. There was some before that too, My Friends or something like that. But yeah, so that was a thing. We had to get AOL subscriptions to be able to even connect to the internet at that time. And then we had to have our phone connected to the wall, and you could not make a phone call and get on the website at the same time. Right. Remember?
Right.
Or if somebody called you, you get kicked off.
Right. So I do remember Black Planet, blackpeopleblackplanet.com was first. And then it was like the dating apps kind of, I think, was the first few things. Because I remember, you know, before the internet, my husband and I, we were still doing like design, ready-to-wear design in a showroom. And then we went to ready-to-wear t-shirt collection. This was 98 when the internet first started to develop. One of our investors put us on and gave us a website where we could start selling our t-shirts. But I think internet started, but the internet started before the concept of the social media or life on social media. I think we were just using the technology to now communicate in a faster way. And then, you know, through technology, which is such a beautiful thing, then it went to, I think, these dating apps. I remember that, but I was too young to be a part of those, And then
we also had chat rooms too, where we could all talk to strangers.
Right, the chat rooms. Okay. Too young for that, so that's why that skipped. But I do remember having a MySpace page, and I remember developing the MySpace page. But that had to be around 2010. I feel like 2009, something like that, because I was doing earrings.
I was in college, and I remember a college friend being upset with me because she was no longer in my top 4 friends because I had a boyfriend. So I believe it must have been like 2004, 2005, maybe 6, during that time.
Okay, 2006 might be right, because I know I ended my marriage around 2005, and I started making earrings, I think around like 2006, 2007. And I remember that I used MySpace as a platform to show my earrings. Yes, and I loved MySpace. My shit had music. I had Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying? That shit was. But I also remember before that, I had started the blog. Like you were saying, we had the WordPress and the Blogspot. So that I kind of started, and instead of having an actual website, I learned how to use blogs as a way to do content. And I also believe that's when YouTube started really, that's when those content creators really started taking advantage of building their platforms, because now they make money off of it because of what they started back then, just doing their little content videos. And then I guess YouTube seeing, the algorithm of the success of that and now building. But when I was looking to do the research, everything again was negative. It wasn't anything like, oh, remember when, nostalgic back in the day. It was all talking about how social media has fucked up society. And I was curious about that. So let's go into the first video, which is kind of long, but it's long because it gave 10 ways, and I didn't know where to cut because I thought each point made sense. About 10 ways that the internet has changed our lives forever. So let's check this out, and then we'll come back and discuss.
Panic. Real life is definitely still out there despite the huge effect that the internet has to modern life. Nevertheless, it's funny to think about the hundreds of little ways it has changed our behavior. Here are 10 of the ones we've noticed. How many do you recognize? That's it, you're going home right now. Anyone who was born before the internet era remembers this phrase. A few dozen years ago, kids ran home only if their favorite TV show was about to start. These days, it's almost impossible to make them play outside the house. Well, sometimes they do go outside, but only if you allow them to take their gadgets with them. Before the internet era, we used to take a real camera with us on our trips. That's us on the mountain, that's us feeding a giraffe, that's us near a waterfall, your friends would say. Wow, nice shots, it seems you've had a great time. These days, well, This is the most popular kind of photo on Instagram. How are your friends supposed to comment to this? Hi, Bob's Legs. You look great as usual. You can literally put someone else's feet on your Instagram. No one will notice the difference. Staying on the topic of photos, here is an ordinary situation from the good old times. Did you pack the camera, honey? Sure. Hope there's enough film. Moving on to these days, did you pack the selfie stick? Sure, and I'm using it right now. Smile. Years ago, you had to call a newspaper to place your ad to sell a car. Sometimes you even had to visit their office. Then potential buyers would keep calling you to get the details, day after day. Welcome to today. You just click, click, click on Facebook and done. Here you go. Hey guys, I'm selling my car. Please share, repost. As easy as pie. Is there anyone who has never been in the next situation? You go to the bathroom, lock the door, ready to spend some time alone, and damn it, bring me some toilet paper! You screamed so desperately even the neighbors could hear you. What a shame, but there was no other way that time. Nowadays, the problem is solved. A few clicks on your phone and a toilet paper is delivered to you by one of your family members. Just don't forget to take your phone to the bathroom. Who knows what else you might need there? Now, what did we usually do when cooking went a bit wrong? Mom, can you help me? These days, it's more like, okay, Google, how do I make soup? And here you go, thousands of recipes, thousands and thousands. However, I still do prefer calling my mom. Mom always knows better than Google. Let's move on. Do guys these days still flirt on the street? Years ago, they said something like, hey, does your mom need a new son-in-law? Girls used to roll their eyes, but I swear each of them secretly dreamed of being in a situation like this, just in order to roll their eyes and proudly pass by. These days, you hardly meet people in person anymore. Instead, you get personal messages, something like, hey, sweetie, what's the difference between you and a shining star? You can still roll your eye, but no one would see it. Okay, let's say that lucky guy got the girl. They have a nice date, and suddenly the next situation pops up. How dare you? You are staring at her. Look away now. These days, the worst accusation is, you liked her photo, and you know what you have to do next. You'll spend a night deleting all your likes you left for other girls. Just kidding. Now, do you remember that pain of waiting for the next episode of your favorite TV show? We had to wait for a week. Nowadays, you can download 3 seasons of your favorite show all together and binge on them during the weekend. Whee! There's only one problem. The next season is not for another year. Now, what do you picture if I say the word pirate? Yeah, some brave man wearing a hat with a sword and a parrot. Back in the day, pirates were chasing treasure all around the world. These days, pirates look more like this. Their treasure is free media all over the internet, and they don't even have to leave their houses to get it. Looking for an answer to some question? We used to dream, if only we had access to all the world's knowledge. But only books in a library were our salvation back in the day. Nowadays, it's 3 a.m., you're supposed to be up at 6 a.m., but you suddenly need to know what celery dreams about. Yes, it's really important right now.
Wow, that was very, very creative.
Did you see any of you in any of those 10 steps or 10 things?
Oh, yeah, I would say the dating apps, right? Meeting people out in real life. So it's been interesting being in a marriage for so many years, right around when that stuff started popping up, and then now being divorced and having those websites at my disposal. It's much different in the dating world. So I would say that one's the one that's really like, oh yes, it's very different now.
It said that, how has the internet impacted our lives? Gadgets and technology play a part in our lives, but literally it's just a part. It's funny to think about the hundreds of little ways it has changed our behavior. Here are the 10 ways that I've noticed or that they've noticed we've changed, and how many did you recognize? So you recognize that the dating process has changed from when you first started dating as a young college woman till now. The things that, unfortunately, I saw 5 things that stood out that I now participate in or have changed behavior in. So definitely, as a business, I am not a fan of the way marketing has changed. I went to school for marketing, so that's my forte. I learned how to, adapt to the market trends that's going on as your business grows, and or your business changes. But the way now that we market products and we sell products through marketing using social media has been a good thing, but also has been very exhausting, where at one point you could just go to an investor or a factory, produce your product, and then pay an advertising firm to help you, market or have some kind of campaign going on, the way, like, for example, Fubu did with LL when he got the Gap commercial, kind of synchronizing little subliminal ways of marketing. But now, using social media, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, all of these different platforms to sell or to market yourself, and it's always still changing from Twitter to TikTok. There's always some new platform that you have to adapt to. How about you when it comes to business? Like, using social media, we met using social media on a business platform. How has business changed for you using social media?
I mean, with the pandemic, I would say like social media and the Wi-Fi world has really been a huge component of my business, since we were doing mental health face-to-face during pre-COVID time. I actually wanted to start my business only doing mental health online, but at that time in 2015, insurance companies said that they would not reimburse for therapy that was produced online. And then lo and behold, it was all of a sudden ethical that we could do that because of the pandemic. So that has really changed it up for us. And now we can actually have therapists and workers from all over the world utilize the online platform to connect and run businesses. So that's one of the ways that has been really great. And we can market these to places all around the world, not just where, the newspapers go out to and say, like, we have openings and stuff like that.
And it's funny because actually the first type of funding or the first type of financial endorsement I ever got via social media was using the platform on LinkedIn. My first few sponsors, when the events I used to produce, all started and came from LinkedIn. And then 2016, when I made another transition in my business, some personal things was going on in my life, and that's when I got into broadcasting, using social media as a platform to kind of share personal experiences. And that shifted, now coming into television, using that platform of video and pictures, which is the other part that I saw, where I came to where now it's like, because I'm a content creator, I'm always wanting to take a picture of where I'm at and what I'm doing. And for me, it's work, but for everyone else around me, they want to fucking shoot me. From the guy I'm dating to the kids, they're like, I can't take it anymore. I don't want another picture. They don't even want to take pictures of me. So I have to walk around with my selfie so that I can take my own pictures, because they're all exhausted with how many pictures I ask of them each time that we're out. So I definitely have seen how that has played a part in my life. What I thought was funny was the texting on the toilet. My house is quick for that shit. My daughter or me, I gotta take for, can be in the bathroom, and no, we no longer yell what we need. Now we're texting, bring me toilet tissue. I thought that shit was ridiculous and so funny because it was right on point. When I get the text, I'm annoyed. Like, I'd rather her yell to me from the next room than fucking text me. Like, are you really texting me from the toilet? But yes, I was definitely right on with that. And
another thing that I actually thought of too was with the new technology now, it's like we can order anything we want, right? When we wanted to do something, like get something, we would have to go to the store. Now we have these platforms, Amazon and all these other things, like you were saying with your t-shirts. We now can just go online, and in stateside, you can get something show up at your house the next day. Before, we would have to travel to a mall, and that was like an all-day event for me. So that has really changed the way people are moving about the world too. Like, some of us don't even need to leave the house for weeks on end because it can all just come to us.
Girl, And if we don't know something, how many times a day are you saying, Google it? Girl,
Yes.
I remember not the dictionary, what we had, the botanical
The
encyclopedias.
encyclopedias.
And then when
Yes.
we had to go to the library, we had to go to, what's those little index cards we used to have to go to?
The Dewey Decimal System. We had to learn that system.
But now we're like, Google, and I'm telling you, Google really does know goddamn everything. It's ridiculous how much Google is aware of everything. But the one thing I also wanted to share, which I thought was funny, was the sharing of apps. Because I think, remember during COVID, everybody was sharing their Netflix accounts?
Yes. And before that,
I had like
Netflix
10
had the
people
CD.
on my Netflix account. Oh, and the CD Columbia House. Yes, girl. But wait, that wasn't the internet. That wasn't online activity.
No, but before Netflix ended up being a streaming service, we used to get those movies on CDs. So we would have to order 3 movies at a time. It'd come into the mail, and then we could watch them and then send them back. Blockbuster actually started that.
Yes, I remember some Blockbuster. So the second video that I was able to find talks about how social media is destroying society. So it's like,
All right.
okay, so let's go and see how social media is destroying society.
Hey, I remember when I was growing up, way back in the day, a prehistoric time before everyone had a cell phone and computers were named after the year they were made in. Okay, I'm not quite a dinosaur yet, but I grew up in a unique time where half of my childhood was without the major technology and platforms that seem to rule parts of our lives today, and the other half of my childhood was rapidly slingshotted into the new age of technology. I remember from the earlier half of my childhood, life seemed different, especially human interaction. If you wanted to talk with someone, you had no other option but to physically go out and find them and spend uninterrupted time with them in the same room. And while you were there was nothing pulling your attention away, nothing in the back of your mind reminding you that there are hundreds of other people sharing information that you might be missing out on. That degree of presence, practiced day in and day out, created a different richness to human interaction, with intricacies and nuances that seems to be slowly and gradually lost the further we progress into this new age of technological advancement. And with the meteoric rise in popularity for documentaries like The Social Dilemma, it's safe to say that this is a growing sentiment and realization within today's culture. The terrifying crux to the problem is actually quite simple. There's a massive mismatch between the rate of adaptation and advancement between our biology and technology. Because of the law of accelerating returns, the pace of advancement in information technology is exponential, and while technology continues to grow at a rapid pace, we're left still trying to figure out how it actually impacts us, especially when we're teaching algorithms to predict and modulate our behavior.
Oh, gosh. Right?
Did you get that, Dr. Da Silva?
Yes.
You want to break that down before?
Technology is evolving much faster than we are able to adapt to it. And, we are animals and creatures of, we get comfortable in the same thing over and over again. We need to adapt, and when we are forced to adapt really fast, it really jacks up our nervous systems and trying to figure out how to adapt to all these different situations. And I was thinking about life statuses. Whenever we have a big event now that happens, we used to call everybody, be like, guess what? Me and my partner, no longer together. Now we're just putting it online. It's like, we're done. And that's it. But then you get what do you get in return? You get generic responses. Oh, so sad to hear it. Oh, you deserve better. Oh, there's more fish out in the sea. But remember when you used to call somebody and have that connection, that conversation. I think that we're really missing this conversation, and everything is just cut down to so many characters. Even in it has destroyed the way we communicate in real life because we know how to make things shorter and faster. I watched one of my murder shows the other day, but the girl was like, I don't know, TBH. And I was like, she can't say to be honest. It has to be like words are being constricted now to like just little letters.
Right.
And that's how we're functioning as a society. It's just everything's abbreviated so we can get everything in time. And we're trying to adjust, but we have a hard time adjusting. And soon, computers will just take over everything.
Well, that's the world of what AI that they say is, in every movie. I always believe that there's some level of truth that the government is predicting or letting us, letting us a little aware of they're putting together that's getting ready to happen in our future. So, the world takeover of AI is not that far from us. There's robots now that's maids or doing technology for, doctors, operations and things like that we're not all the way privy to. But what I found interesting about how the video was being described was it was saying that how social media is destroying society because it's questioning the effect that social media addiction has on our society, a growing sentiment and realization within today's culture that instant gratification of wanting something right now, that lost feeling of the anticipation, because I remember, having to wait weekly for my shows to come on. And now I rarely do that. I am definitely a binge watch person, but I was also noticing that what is the path forward in this new age of social media and the side effects of the rapid evolution of the technology and the algorithms that control how we interact with these platforms. I paid a bill, or I looked up something, or I made a shopping order, and then next thing you know, everything on my Instagram was fucking shoes. You know what I'm saying? From this one purchase I made, not even on a fucking social media platform. And the shit annoyed me because I really felt like, wow. I felt like almost like, what's that word? Like intrusive. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you know that I made this purchase that now everything on my social media feed wants to come up this way? But that's that's even how, as I am as a business, is using social media. What words, what sound bites can I use? What tags can I use that I come up on these searches, or I come up in an algorithm of, somebody was looking at one of my videos and the next video was a video of meditation and calmness and spirituality. So right then it showed like following a video I did talking about spirituality, then the algorithm that YouTube figured out made the next video about the same similar thing that I was talking about. So on one level, I was impressed and happy that I, was in a rotation of something, but then a part of me on a personal level was like, I don't like that. I feel like my privacy is being is no longer private.
I want to know what I said in my life that provided information for Instagram to continually advertise a calendar of cat balls. I mean, this is just like a calendar of the backside of cats. What in the world did I say out in my life that got the AI directed me to this calendar? And I also find that because they have figured out like how old I am, what my gender is, they also advertise certain things they think that I should be interested in, and sometimes it's quite offensive too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your menopause, like you need to be making sure that you're doing this, and it's like if you remember this, then it's time for your first colonoscopy, and like things about being a mother. And sometimes it's a bit offensive, some of the stuff, especially the cat balls. I don't know why I'm getting pictures of cat balls.
But then again, I don't know if you would say that those would be things that's destroying society. I think that with every development in history or technology, I mean, don't we want advancement? You know what I'm saying? Like at one point, I'm going to tell you every morning, one of the things that I am grateful for when I say my prayers in the morning is when I'm in the shower and that hot water is coming down on my body. I think that is one of the best inventions ever made in man. And I think about not that long ago how my people, well, our people were in the outhouse, you know, pouring water on themselves, or in a bucket pouring water, or going to the lake, you know what I'm saying? Whatever ways that they were doing to having to wash wasn't the luxury of now water coming out of a shower head. So why is advancement good when it doesn't inconvenience us?
Well, the other thing too, so you talked about how you got a video about meditation after your YouTube video was shown, but that has also been used, social media has been used to pin us against each other too, especially we've seen over the past few years. So like if you happen to watch one video about one view, it's going to continue to feed that information system. So we're not getting everybody's worldview on things. It's getting what, you know, the system wants us to ingest, and we don't even realize that we're ingesting what's being fed to us. We think like everybody's getting all the same thing, but we're not.
You are absolutely right with that, because I'm gonna share a secret of one of my friends. So I'm gonna say one of my friends instead of saying who it is. So one of my friends is like on TikTok, and they're always getting porn, right? Or women showing their ass or their pussy or titties. And I never get that shit on TikTok. Like I've never got it. Like I swear to you, it never comes up on my TikTok. So I said to this person, you must have put something in. Now, mind you, I do watch porn. And when I notice that when I watch porn, the next day I'll get a bunch of emails from sex toy companies, right? And that's always interesting to me, because I didn't subscribe to anything when I went to the porn site. I didn't put my email address in anything. So then how are you now sending me emails in regards to an interest you think I might have because I clicked on to Pornhub? So I find that to be interesting. So I think that's the same way with the TikTok. You might have saw one image, or you might have saw an image in your Pornhub or whatever have you, and now the algorithm in social media and the matrix makes you think that this is what you're interested in, and now everything they feed to you is this, where now you think that this is all that TikTok is about. Oh my goodness, it's nothing educational, it's nothing amusing, it's only this. But it could have been just that one thing that you put in. And like we always said, I say don't just go off of what you see on social media, because at the end of the day, social media is also a curated lifestyle.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So in that sense of the word, you know, we have to kind of take things, I think, what's the word I'm looking for, with a grain of salt, because we know how deep it can get into our lives, and we have to kind of figure out how we can make it less. Include, what's the word? Make it less
impressionable. I mean,
that's a good word. Impressionable.
Yes.
All right, let's check that out.
I'm listening to something the other day about the Kardashians and how they're falling off, their reign, because we are done seeing them flexing their money and their wealth and stuff like that, especially in this time where people are losing their jobs and we don't have enough money. But we've been told years and years, wait, we're supposed to look like these women, we're supposed to be working like these women, we should be buying everything they say because they have these perfect lives. And so, and thousands, millions of people have followed this information that we've been told. I'm glad to see that they're finally falling off the popularity. Although I am grateful that the big ass was in for so long.
Shout out to the big ass group. That's us. Let's check out our PSAs.
Chic is coming back though, and that is very sad.
Let's check out our PSAs for the week.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
It took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting. And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, making it into a song.
So I think that that is a good way to wrap up and come to our Jesus moment of the topic of the week about how social media has, life before social media and how social media has now affected our lives. I'm gonna let you take it, Melissa, you first. What's your Jesus moment in regards to life before social media and what that was for you and how it is now?
I think, like with all things in life, there are pros and cons to everything, and it's how you utilize the pros and the cons to everything. I mean, I would say I live the life in paradise that I live because of the internet and Wi-Fi and being able to work remotely. But I also know that there are days that I feel depressed because I see stuff on Instagram and documentaries that will like kill your soul. So, you know, it's a give and take, you know, just like most things in life.
Thank you for sharing that honest view of how social media sometimes can be good and sometimes can be bad because of what we're watching or what we think we're watching in these eyes that people were portraying, describing their life or describing what they're doing, or these gimmicks that are out there that's drawing us in, whether it's money schemes that are playing upon us because they know that people are looking for ways of making more money or trying to get out of debt, or these dating apps where people are using them to look for prey or prey on the young or prey on those that are looking for love. All these types of things that social media has been bad for in regards to the good part of social media, and not life, or taking what you see on social media as the gospel to how things should be. So for me, my Jesus moment, again, please don't let me sound preachy, but I can't help it because I'm a preacher, is let it go. One of the things I started doing was leaving my phone in the living room when I go to bed. Not bringing that shit to bed with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I find that when I roll over, I'm looking on the phone. When I'm going to the bathroom, I'm taking the phone. Learning how to separate myself from the connection or the draw that social media pulls me into. I also don't get caught up in what I see on social media, because I know that since I curate what I want people to see, what makes me so different from someone else who's a content creator that's curating what they want you to see. So I can't get caught up in what I see on social media because I never really know whether or not it's true or not. So for me, I use it just for my business. I know my person, he uses it for entertainment. I know my children uses it for education, the news. I think we have to find our place in how we use it and stick to, unfortunately, a controlled way so that it doesn't consume us, so that we don't get caught up in it, so that we don't look to it as a tool for our life, so that we don't look to it as a tool to how we're supposed to be, so that we don't look at it for anything more than what it really was designed, which was a social mechanism, a social platform to allow people to gather, communicate, share, not this platform that dictates how you live. That's what the Matrix does. That's what Satan does. Uses another device, uses another platform to draw you away from that existence of yourself, the glory of God within you, disconnecting you from that human connection, disconnecting you from that spiritual connection that's yourself, that allows you to just enjoy going for a walk, enjoy a sunrise, enjoy something other than this phone, this laptop, this TV. You know what I'm saying? So, let me get off my pulpit, you know what I'm saying, and just have people live. You know, that's how life was before social media. We was out on the block playing. Let's go back to that. So, before the end of the year, I got a chance to go see Alvin Ailey Dance Theater. So that is our spotlight moment for the week. That is how we are going to enter the year, with some culture, because we're not looking on our phones or watching it on the YouTube. We're actually going live in person to see theater. So Melissa, again, when you come to New York, we got a date. Okay.
Yes.
So let's check out the testimonies from my experience going to see the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater Revelations production. Here we guys go. And don't forget, #attend with us. Let it rip, guys. What did you think of tonight's performance?
I thought the performance was great. It was very interesting to see all the transitions, and I'm just glad I got the opportunity to come out tonight to watch.
I agree. It captured my attention, and I think it really captured everyone's energy. And I think it was really well put out and had such a great symbolic performance.
As young people, did you think you would be bored initially?
I don't think so. We saw a glimpse of what we were going to see tonight, and I think it really exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I went in not really knowing what to expect, and the more I watched, the more I was just impressed.
Now, do you think just because you guys are valedictorians, maybe you're just a little too smartsy for the rest of the young folks? Would you recommend young people coming to see Alvin Ailey dancers?
Yeah, I would recommend that. I think it was a new experience for me, and I totally do it again.
What did you think of tonight's performance?
It was wonderful. It was fabulous. Because I've heard about this all my life, so finally I get to see what Revelation's about.
Okay. And did you have a favorite scene? We saw 3 acts tonight.
I like Bust. That was really good.
I liked In Your Feelings.
I like that too.
Did you like the incorporation of the modern?
Yes.
Oh, that's absolutely yes.
Did you think you was going to come see Men in Tights?
I knew that.
No, what I liked about the costumes is that you got to see what modern costumes, what the work did, or what the flow, the energy that the dancers put in. Because very often in tights, you're not really paying attention to what kind of energy is being done. But I mean, you see like street clothes like now, then you know, yeah, they really are moving. So that's what's important.
#attend with us.
What did you guys think of tonight's performance?
Always moving, always amazing. Always spectacular. Wonderful.
Did you guys have a favorite act or favorite scene?
Well, Revelations is always my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm a sinner. It's a sinner. It's always the best. But the company is just amazing. It just evolves and it just gets better and better. Exactly. And
current. They stay current, which is great.
And Alvin Ailey was ahead of his time. He was brilliant. To be able to create this forum for people to come and cross boundaries from generations and racial barriers, and everybody to come and enjoy the show. It was phenomenal. So I'm pretty sure he's proud of what the legacy has been with the Alvin Ailey show.
We normally don't see men gathering together in outings together. What made you guys come out together?
Strong black men. That's right.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Hashtag attend with us.
That's power. Alvin Ailey represents the future of young, middle-aged, every genre of African American culture, which can make all of us proud as young black men. So we have to support it, and we hope that this legacy continues on.
Who we have? The assistant principal, education. She's the one responsible for these young people tonight. What made you bring them to this trip? Giving them Alvin Ailey dances to look at as a congratulatoria.
So part of our role as an educator is not just to teach content, but to expose them to different cultural opportunities. And we thought that this was something that, one, would be a little bit different, but also relatable since it has dance and music incorporated. And because it's dancers of color predominantly, we thought it would be really good for them to see people who look like them on stage.
What did you think of tonight's performance?
Oh, it was just spectacular, absolutely spectacular. I had a wonderful time. I even moved in my chair back here so I could spread my legs out to enjoy all of it. It was phenomenal, Kitty. Thank you so much for introducing me to something new tonight, and thank you for interviewing me. Love you, girl.
Hashtag attend with us.
Thank you. Hashtag attend with us.
I love that there were 4 men who went to the theater together. That was beautiful.
I just want to give a quick little shout out. If you saw the end picture with my little light, one of the benefits and perks of being a public access producer, public access community producer here in New York, is that when you are affiliated with one of the networks like I am at BronxNet TV, you have access to equipment to film your projects that are related to the projects you're producing on the show. So since each week we do these spotlight segments, you know, as a access producer, I'm able to use the equipment from BronxNet TV to take with me to help me get the best lighting and audio when it comes to getting this great content while I'm out attending these cultural events that I'm getting sent to by Walker Communication Group. Uncle Richard Peltzer is what we call him here in New York. So I wanted to thank them again for allowing me to cover the event. And little secret, I actually studied at Alvin Ailey Dance Theater when I was in the 6th grade. I was a student at Philippa Schuyler Middle School for the Gifted and Talented in Brooklyn, and in 6th grade I got a scholarship to go to Alvin Ailey. So I did a semester there, so I was so excited to finally, as an adult woman, get to see them live on stage. It was absolutely beautiful. And yes, I agree, seeing black men or a group of men out together with no women was kind of, you know, was very sexy. It was kind of a turn on to me, actually. But if you saw, Mr. was with me, so I had to use him as my camera guy and my date. But once again, I love the concept of hashtag attend with us. Instead of going to see theater or any of these cultural events by yourself, why not take a group of friends and attend with us? Or when you're in New York, come and join us at Walker Communication, Black Tall Girl, Rilla Men Productions, all of these different outlets that it gives you access to all of these cultural events here in New York. So that was our spotlight segment for the week. I shouted out BronxNet, I shouted out Alvin Ailey, and my middle school alma mater, Philippa Schuyler Middle School, for the gifted and talented. And now I have a special announcement. So I met Melissa a year and a half, well, 2 years ago, when I was producing my one-woman show, I Am You. And I am happy to announce that I am bringing my show back to, well, I won't say Broadway, but I'm bringing it back. And to start, I am going on a college tour.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I wanted everyone to check out my trailer and see what's coming up new for Kitty Rose in 2023 with bringing you guys I Am You. Check out my trailer.
As I was reflecting on my life, I remember moments of feeling ashamed. I was doing reckless things. I Am You is a comedic satire monologue reflecting on the last 25 years of my life. When we met, he told me he didn't want a relationship. He told me he was not looking for a woman. 28 years I had spent collecting public assistance. Come and join me on this ride as I share with you 6 stories of how I ended up where I'm at 45. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm happy. I'm only getting better. And I am you.
Very exciting. Congratulations.
I'm only getting better because I am you. What made you ask me to come on your show 3 years ago when I showed you, or when I was promoting I Am You? What triggered you to say, yeah, come on my show and do chit chat?
You know, I think it was the way that you were able to discuss your life in a creative way. And I think it also sent me the thoughts of the vagina monologue. So like that monologue type of presentation really gets to me and to my heart. So I think is when I saw that, I was like, I need to speak to this woman and really talk about this project that you're working on, and then some of the stories that you had were hysterical too. So
So yes, and it's funny because, again, for those who have not heard this story before, you know, when I was promoting this show, I went on about 45 different media outlets. And Melissa, being one of maybe one white person, I don't even know if I did more than one white show. I think I did maybe one other white show, and then a guy from Pakistan, and then, oh no, I did another white girl, Megan, I did her show. So I did like 2 white people shows, and everyone else was people of color. But Melissa was the only one who, you know, reshared my shit, you know, was excited with me after we did the interview, stayed in touch. So I am really appreciative of you connecting to this project and not just ending it when we did our interview, but you kind of like sharing this with your community and really, you know, giving us and now having the opportunity to have this relationship where a year later, you know, we came about and created the next chapter, you know. So I'm, you know, that's so dope. Again, using social media.
That's right. That's right.
Before we leave, so guys, every week I'm gonna be, you know, adding you some little snippets of, you know, the images from the shows that I was able to do and trailers, just to kind of get you guys publicly aware of what I'm doing, so that when I do come back to Off-Broadway, you guys will be able to come and see me actually perform this show live. But for the spring, summer season, my goal and what I'm working with my production team is my college tour. So please, put in your prayers for that, and I'm happy to be able to announce that to you guys. So before we end tonight's show, we have our inbox question. And our inbox question this week was from William. And William wanted to know what's next for Melissa D, because we heard she's leaving us. Whack. So Melissa D, what's next?
Well, as everybody knows, since the pandemic, mental health needs have been on an uprise. And most of you know that my day job is I run a mental health agency in Rhode Island. And because the need is so huge, we're working on expanding the agency out into different states and also Puerto Rico, because that's where I'm at right now. So that is what I'm working on right now, is to increase access to mental health to other people who need it. So that is the goal for 2023.
So you guys got all this free guidance for the last year. Now, if you want to continue to get advice from Melissa D, you're going to have to go to her website and go to her practice and actually pay for her services. So, but we have her for 2 more episodes, and I am going to milk the shit out of those next 2 episodes because I absolutely have come to love this woman. And I'm so glad that the Creator brought her into my life, because I really believe that outside of the business relationship we have developed a true, honest girlfriend relationship. And for that, through social media, I am grateful. So you guys, you know what you have to do. You know what you have to do when it comes to social media. Like, follow, and share. We hate to come and tell you guys that, but you already know that that's the process. That's the process so that we can continue to grow. That's how we function. That's how we stay motivated. So continue to like us, continue to follow us, and continue to share our content. And the best way to do that is to go to our Facebook group page. Follow us. You can inbox us there. You can see some behind the scenes, because I'm not letting Melissa go all the way just yet. She might not be physically on the show, but that's my homie. So in our group page, you will still see all the things that she's doing, because she is still in the next chapter of her life. And you have joined her in this journey as well as joining me in this journey. So we are grateful to you. We are grateful to Public Access. We are grateful to the Creator for bringing us together. So for all you guys, thank you. And continue to like, follow, and share, because we, I, her, us, we together. I am one of your hosts, Minister Kat, a.k.a. Kitty Rose, and I am joined for 1 out of 3 more times with my girl,
Melissa D.
And we are the next chapter where we discuss Shades of Grey. Until next week, guys. Mwah. Be safe out there.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Baby, Gucci frito on the corner, but we stay hungry. First come loyal, then cold shit. That real life grit from the heart of the city. It's as hard as it gets. This that New York shit. That real life grit from the heart of the city. It's as hard as it gets. This that New York shit. That real life grit from the heart of the city. It's as hard as it gets. This that New York shit. That real life grit from the heart.